What's up, guys and gals? Floyd here, and today I want to talk about my Magicka DK build. Another super simple build. Easy gear to get, easy food, easy pots, everything's easy. This is a dual bar, dual staff build, so let's get into it. So character, this is just flat with blue food for Magicka and health. So you're 34k maximum magic, you're just about 24k maximum health, 15k maximum stamina, you're 4357 for your spell damage, and you're 60.3% for your spell critical. Now you're going to do 64 points into maximum magic, and then you're going to be running the Thief as your Mundus. And then as for the race, High Elf, Dark Elf, Khajiit, it doesn't matter. I believe that this guy is a Dark Elf, so that's the race that I am. And he pulls, it's plenty good with the sustain and everything like that. So let's go into food. I like to run tri-stat food in content for a little bit extra stamina. Like I said, if you want to run blue food, run blue food. You can run the Ghastly, the eyeball, for extra recovery. But like I said, you don't need the recovery. You just, the max health, max magic, cheap food. I have Alliance Spell Droughts as the potions. Now, the only thing that you need off of this is your recovery. So, whatever you want to use to get your recovery, you can use it. You can use trash pots, you can use spell power pots. I just use all my AP and I just buy Alliance Spell Droughts. So, that's your pot there. And then your gear, your first set's going to be Spell Strap. We're going to do Precise on the front bar with a Inferno Staff. I do run the Crown Lethal Poisons on this guy. You get a buff for it for the DK. So, like I said, it's pretty good. If you don't have double dot poisons at all, you don't want to make them, that's fine. Flame Glyph. Poison Glyph, sorry. Then, like I said, Precise. This set here is going to give you max magic, weapon, and spell damage, 2 lines of it, and then when you deal damage with the light attack, you're going to place a mark over the target, and you gain 460 weapon and spell damage against the target that you marked. This is a PvP set. That's where you get it. If you do not have access to this, and you don't want to go get Spell Strategist, you can buy it in the trader. If you don't want to do that, a very close second and a recommendation would be Burning Spellweave. This is a fantastic set. You're going to lose a little bit of spell damage, but you're going to gain a little bit more crit. The only reason that I don't run Burning Spellweave is because it has that 4-second, 5-second window between when the 490 weapon and spell damage drops off and you can re-proc the set. So, but this is City of Ash, and you can farm this out. Super simple. This is a great set as a secondary. But like I said, Spell Strategist it out-tests it, it outperforms it. I like Spell Strategist more. But, close second, Burning Spellweave. Backbar, Maelstrom Inferno Staff. You're going to put a weapon and spell damage glyph on there, and then you're going to infuse this. This isn't even a perfected one, so if you have a perfected, even better in content, you'll get a little extra pen. You don't need it. Like I said, the build's fine with just the Maelstrom Inferno on the back bar, so you don't even need a perfected staff for that. Zons, especially on the Magicka DK, this hits like an absolute truck. This is just, I've been testing a lot of stuff. I don't see anything that really tests close to it. So, like I said, for monster set, Zons, especially because we're going to get the buff on the flame damage for this set from the DK passives. Medium armor across the board, all divines, all maximum magicka. Pillar of Nirn, this, so on your body 5-piece this, it's going to give you a nice little pop, and then you're going to apply the bleed damage for 10 seconds. And this is as soon as you deal damage, and since you're rolling dots on this build constantly, this will just proc over and over and over again. It just keeps itself up, which is fantastic. This comes from the Hellhole that's filled with Minotaurs, which is Falkreath Hold. Just run it on normal and get your body pieces, though, so it shouldn't be that bad. On normal, it's fine. Just, I've had bad experiences in that place. I don't want to talk about it. But like I said, again, mediums, divines across the board. Your jewelry will be weapon and spell damage with magic recovery, and you're going to bloodthirsty all 3 pieces. So everything is the same on the glyphs and the traits on your jewelry. Like I said. So there's your gear set up there, and your food and your pots, character sheets, skills, your back bar. So we're going to do Unstable Wall of Fire. This is going to get the buff from the Maelstrom Staff. And it's going to give you a nice little AoE, and then it will explode when it expires or you reapply it. So, like I said, pretty standard stuff there. Barb Trap, another standard. You're going to get a nice little pop. You're going to get a bleed damage, and then this is going to give you your Minor Force here. So, and then it's a stamina ability. It alleviates a little pressure off the mag pool. So, Flames of Oblivion. This is where you're going to get your Major Prophecy. So, this, you just have to have it slotted, but this helps us line up our front bar rotation. So this is going to be the last skill that you cast on the back bar each time, but it's going to line up our front bar skills for us. Inner Light on the back bar, I take it for the passives. It is a flex slot. If you want to put Vigor there, you can as a heal. I like to do Igneous Shield. This right here, it's not a huge shield, but it does give you major mending. So if you're on the back bar and you're reapplying your dots and you take a hit, you pop it, give you a little survivability, swap over, you have 2 heals on the front bar. That will, with major mending, will boost you right back up. Totally fine. Like I said, if you want to swap out Inner Light for Igneous Shield, this is a great alternative to have in that skill slot. Then we're going to take Eruption. So this is a good little initial hit, and then it's going to reduce movement speed. You're going to get a little dot. So like I said, it's a good little, and then it's pretty cheap too, 270 Magicka a second. But this is great for single target, and it's also great for a pool of mobs and stuff like that. Because everything in the pool of mobs is going to take that initial hit, and then it's going to tick and slow them down. So it's a good skill to have. Standard of Might is what I use on the back bar for the ulti. This gives you all kinds of great stuff. You get flame damage, and they take Major Defile. You get 15% reduced damage and damage done, and then you can do the synergy for the group and everything. Plus, this is a pretty pricey ultimate, so in the beginning of combat, once you have all your dots rolling and you swap over to your back bar to reapply, drop your standard, it's going to boost your magic pool back up for the passives from the DK. Going to boost your resource pool back up, and then you're going to get all those, those fantastic little things that they do. So like I said, this is a great back bar ulti. If you slot Igneous Shield, you can put Meteor on there. You still gain the Mages Guild passives. Fantastic. It's fine. Meteor is good too. If you want to use the Destra ultimate, by all means you can use that. I just like the standard a little bit more. It's a really good ultimate. Front bar, we're going to take Incapacitating Strike. So this is going to be, it's a good hit, and we're going to weave it into our light attacks on the front bar in the rotation. But you're taking it for that 20% damage done, and then the passives through the Assassination skill line. If you build this up a little bit, which sometimes it does end up happening, where you build it up a little bit more, don't worry about it. Like I said, if you have a big mob or something like that in content, you can hit it, it'll stun it. Like it's a good little ultimate. But we're gonna take it for that 20% damage increase, especially on the dot build with the DK. It's gonna make everything start ticking like a truck. We're gonna take Relentless Focus. This is gonna give you 40 weapon and spell damage per stack, up to 10, so you can get 400 at full stacks. And then once you're at 5 stacks, you can fire the bow. It does disease damage. We're going to get a buff to the disease damage through the DK passives. This is also a heal. This is your Oh Shoot heal. I don't recommend letting it drop below 5 stacks. If you need to for the heal, fire it again and it'll heal you back up 34%. It hits like a truck, it does. So this is kind of like your oh shoot heal. So then I take inner light on the front bar. So just like while it's slotted, you gain your prophecy and stuff like that. So well, you're getting that off the thing, but you get the Mage's Guild recovery and everything like that. The passives through the Mage's Guild. Spammable is Molten Whip. So this, if you activate Ardent Flame abilities, especially 3 times, then you get the special whip. And that's why we want to cast Flames of Oblivion on the back bar. And then when we swap over, we're going to cast Engulfing Flames, which is like a little cone, and you just spit out your fire. It has initial hit, and then it does the little, it does the tick and everything like that. And then you're going to do Burning Embers, which is your claw. This is your casual heal. Okay, so this will heal you for 102% of the damage done. If you need to swipe something and then swipe it again immediately to get that little bit of heal, you can do that. It's fine. But if you do Flames of Oblivion, and then you cast Engulfing Flames, and then you cast Burning Embers, it will give you the heavy hitting whip, and then the Molten Whip, and then you gain the 100 spell damage for 15 seconds, and it does more damage, and so on and so forth. This is your main spammable. You want to make sure to line up those 3 skills on the back bar to the front bar, and then you have the overhand whip. It's going to hit like a truck. And then you have your 2 other skills there. Oh, and then you're going to keep Ardent Flame, you're going to keep Earthen Heart, and you're going to take Assassination from the Nightblade skill line. So those would be your 3 class. Champion points, you're going to take Master at Arms, Deadly Aim, Thaumaturge, and Wrathful Strikes. So this is what's been testing. I mean, Wrathful Strikes, you can switch it out with Biting Aura, or you can do Fighting Finesse. It'll hit the build hits 95k plus. I've hit just shy of 100k with it, like 99.7k or something like that. It's the crit for some reason. I don't understand. If you want to farm out the perfect crit shot, it's fine. You can do that. It'll pull over 100k at will. I know it will. But it's 95. If you want to take the crit chance and try to push over 100k, then Fighting Finesse, just swap it with Wrathful Strikes. So now your rotation. So your rotation is going to be very simple. Your back bar, you're always going to cast Wall. You're always going to cast Flames of Oblivion. And then Trap and your little Engulf ability, you're going to rotate between these 2. So one back bar is going to be Wall, Trap, Flames, swap front bar abilities. When you come back, you're going to do Wall, Engulf, Flames, do the front bar abilities again, and then when you come back, you're just going to do Trap. You're going to do Wall, Trap, Flames, and you're just going to rotate between Trap and the little Ash Cloud, whatever it's called, Eruption. So you're going to swap between those 2 skills. Front bar, always the same, not always the same thing. So we're going to do the Breath. You're going to do your Claw. And then you're going to whip 4 times. So you do your Breath, you do your Claw, and then you're going to whip 4 times. And then after you whip 4 times, you're going to fire the bow and you're going to swap. And then you're going to do your little back bar rotation. And then you're going to Breath, Claw, and then you have an Incapacitating Strike up. You're going to Incapacitating Strike. You're going to whip 3 times, fire the bow, and that's your rotation. That's it. It's easy peasy. You just keep doing that. There is no execute on this guy, so there's no need to stop. I mean, when stuff gets low, maybe, couple 100k, the only thing that I would keep up would be the breath, your claw, and just keep whipping. There would be no reason to go to the back bar. But like I said, there's no execute, so you just keep rolling with this rotation the entire time. So there's no need to get all crazy about it. The only thing that is when you have an incapacitating strike up, fire it before you do your little backhanded whip. If for some reason incapacitating strike comes up while you're in the middle of doing your whips, do not fire it. Keep it until the next rotation, and then just, like I said, replace it with one of your whips. So if you don't fire it, 4 whips. If you fire it, 3 whips. Fire the bow to your back bar. So like I said, you're just going to kind of use it as one of your spammables. But don't fire it if you're in the middle of your whip. You will still get the 20. If you do fire it when you're in the middle of your whipping, you'll still get the bow for the 20% damage, and then like your dots and stuff like that. But what you really want the 20% damage for is this little reverse whip right here. You want it right here, the 20% damage when you do your little reverse whip, because if you have that 20%, like it hits like a truck. It hits so hard. The whip, the little reverse whip, will hit harder than incapacitating strikes will, with the 20% damage increase on it. Like it's a massive hit. And other than that, I mean, that's pretty much it. The build, like I said, it's very simple. You have a few options when it comes to your gear and everything like that. You can do Burning Spellweave, or you can do the Spell Strategist if you don't, like I said, if you don't have access to either one, just swap it out. Pillar of Nirn, run Falkreath Hold on normal, easy peasy. Zons is... actually, I would say Spell Strategist is probably the most difficult thing to obtain on the build. Zons is very easy to get nowadays. Spell Strategist, if you don't PvP, I don't even know if I see this in the trader anymore. I know that you can just buy it, but I don't know how much it goes for right now. But, I mean, actually the PvP event's up. So, like, you can go to the Golden this weekend and probably buy rings and get your rings. If you didn't get your neck last week, just buy one out of the trader. It's probably a good time to have it because they just sold all the necklaces and stuff like that this last week in the PvP event at the Golden. But like I said, if you don't have this, Burning Spellweave is the next best option. It hits very, very, very close to the Spell Strategist. You're probably talking maybe like 2k difference, 2-3k, depending. So... like I said, if you want to go get Burning Spellweave instead and run City of Ash, by all means, just go run that. If it's easier for you, then that's fine. I just like to do easy builds where everything's just simple. Like, we don't have to sit in the Trap Finder and do trials. So, like I said, this is I hope you guys like the build. I hope everything's easy for you to get. If you have any questions about the build, by all means, down below in the comment section, let me know. I will do everything that I can to try to answer those questions. And other than that, I hope you guys have fun with the build. And that's Floyd signing off.